was watching the old episodes from Buffy and Angel. Well, I think this is going to be two parts. I was looking at the old episodes of Buffy and Angel, and in it, I saw this, that she was doing a sequence of things and he was doing a sequence of things, and both of them were going through the same sequence of testing, but they were separate. She was dealing with having a sister, he was dealing with having a son. It was similar scenarios on two different planes. So it was a lot that came to revelation. I'll do a whole nother video on that if I choose to. I might pray about that and see if I can record content on that, because there's a whole revelation right there with the two of them in relation to kingdom marriage, and whole different story. But getting back to this, so as godly wives, we have to be the power to carry our husbands. We have to be the power that carry our husbands, and in their weakness be the love and encouragement that they have to make them as their wives more powerful. But it only works when they work in tandem. As I was just saying, the three-legged race, you can't go but so far without them, they can't go but so far without you. How can you walk together unless you agree? When one falls, the other one can lift them up. Two lay down, they keep each other warm. So, in the movie, getting back to the movie, Neo kept seeing Trinity. He met up with Trinity about 3 times in that film, in that reality. And he kept trying to figure out why. And what it ended up having to be is, once he realized who he was, she had to realize who she was. But the fact of the matter was, and speaks so directly to the Kingdom Wives message, and ties it in, the man has to make the decision. Adam has to wake up. When Adam wakes up, Eve will be brought to him. But she has to choose to walk with him. Rebecca and Isaac. Rebecca had to meet the servant, and when the servant said, I need you to come with me to meet your husband, she had to choose to walk with him. In the film, he had come to the realization of who she was, but he had to leave that reality, coming into full alignment. That would be for us to come into full alignment, the man having to come in full alignment with the Lord, realize what he needed to do in spirit, come into agreement with it, and go fight to get to her. I've been having dreams about fighting to get to, and it's another person I listened to. She was talking about, it's Megan Michelle. Go watch her videos on Kingdom Marriage. She was talking about you have to fight to get to you. Because of the reality, they had been put on, it was almost like spiritual life support. He was in his capsule and she was in her capsule, because the only way that the reality, the spiritual universe that they existed in, meaning the Matrix, existed because of the two of them being the thing that supported it, because what had initially supported it was destroyed in the last movie. So them being connected to it was the only thing that was keeping the system alive. So when they came to the realization, he was brought back into that under universe, and they realized that they wanted to take her off the other pod, but they could not take her off the other pod to remove her from the Matrix until it was a decision made by her from within the Matrix to say, I want to come out. So he had to go back in, fully aware of who he is now as the one, but he did not have the strength. She did. Kingdom marriage. The wives have the strength to carry the husbands, but because she was unaware, he wasn't strong enough to do it physically. Every time he went back into the matrix, he had no strength. But she was carrying the strength, and it was only going to work if she woke up to it. But the fact of the matter was, what you later find is that she was already awake to it. Because when they had the final conversation in the cafe, she tells him, I've been watching your game. I've been playing it. I've been watching you the whole time. Let me tell you something about these kingdom marriage words. For the last year and a half, I've been seeing these words that keep coming up. They've been watching you. They've been watching you. They've been watching you. They've been watching you. Your ordained spouse has been watching you. They know who you are. They've just been watching from a distance. Even the word I just finished listening to, that the spouse, the husband, was watching her, the person I was talking about. They're watching you. They're seeing what you do and what you are about to do. And they're observing, because it's almost like the Lord is letting them know this is what you're doing. And when you see this, then it's time to go. I have been seeing confirmations on my YouTube. I take screenshots. There's going to come a time, and it ain't now, when things manifest the way that they meant to manifest. I will pray about it. When my spouse is around, we will talk about it. If it comes down to that, we will reveal it. But God gave me so many confirmations about this man. And as of recently, alignment, he's been showing me certain things that are saying certain things are about to occur. Get ready, because something's about to occur. As of recently, about a week and a half ago, I had a severe spiritual attack after receiving a prophecy, which I cannot repeat for safety precautions and security purposes. I cannot repeat, but it was confirmation. Look like one of my ministers is releasing the word right now. But she gonna be on in a minute. Things are coming into alignment for these ordained marriages. Which brings me right down to the last point. Adam discovers Eve, but Eve has to choose to walk with him, be positioned, and take her rightful place. Ruth sees Boaz. Ruth had to come to Boaz and make the point. It was Boaz's decision whether to take her as his wife. Esther had to be chosen by Xerxes, and she had to choose to walk through the steps that she had to walk through in order to become prepared to be his wife. Rebecca had to choose to walk with the servant to leave her house and everything that she knew to be with Isaac. Abigail, who is married to Nabal, when David killed her husband, that was a mess right there. David was a mess, man. Abigail had tried or came to him as a sacrifice, giving off offering to him to preserve her husband's life. But after David ended up eventually killing him, she had to make the decision when David approached her to go and to marry him and be his second wife. The men have to make certain decisions, and the women have to make certain decisions. It's a choice. Trinity had to choose, but Trinity was already alert. Trinity was already aware. We as kingdom wives, when the Lord tells us what we need to know, and sometimes, let me tell you something. If you pray a specific prayer to the Lord, and you got to be walking with God and coming into the fullness of the alignment of where He wants you to be, He will tell you who your spouse is. But you got to walk with Him really closely, because I'm telling you, the counterfeits out here is real. I can't tell you how many times I've seen doppelgangers of the man that I'm supposed to marry. And people have told me that they've seen, I'm not being facetious when I say this, 16 different occasions I've ran into people that said that they saw people that looked identical to me, whether they were a little bit more light-skinned or a little bit more dark-skinned. Whichever way I had my hair at that time, they saw the person that looked just like me. Just like me. I remember I was in college. First time it happened. I come in, they said, weren't you just here? Did you mean I was just here? I've never been here before. What are you talking about? It's like, you were just here about an hour ago. You did. What? Roommate. Oh, do you? No, she was lighter than you. But I saw somebody, she looked just like you. But she was lighter than you. And she had red hair. All the way over in the other town. I'm like, wait, what? Same thing happened with my kingdom spouse. I had a friend that I confided in who my kingdom spouse was at the time, and we were walking together in that season, and she said, dude, oh my God, look, that guy looked just like the guy. I was like, what? I turned around, and lo and behold, if I'm lying, I'm dying. This dude looked like his identical twin. His hair was just longer, and it was funny, because I love how the Lord talked to me, because earlier that day, I had a vision, and I was like, man, he would look good if he had this type of hair. This guy looked like that. And now that I think about it, all the Lord was saying was, you're going to run into somebody that looked like that. You're going to run into somebody that looks identical to that. But ironically, recently I've been having dreams of him having that kind of hairstyle. Which I'm like, I don't think he would do that. But if he did, it wouldn't look bad on him. What's this last point? You have to always know fear will create doubt to feed the illusion. Otherwise, it is going to be a fight for both parties. With that being said, that was the end. The two had to come into agreement and a realization that, putting my glasses back on, they had to come into realization of where they were called and who they were called to. She had to come into agreement with who she was. And she had been sitting there the whole time observing, watching. She'd watched his games. She'd been fans of what he was doing. She'd been watching him in that reality. And when she came to the realization and he said, you ready to go? She said, let's go. And when she said, let's go, her power hit her. And the biggest fight scene that we saw the whole movie happened because all the strength happened in her. She was the one that was carrying it. The kingdom wives carry the strength for their husbands. We cover them. We encourage them. We are what they need, but they don't realize it. And one of the people I listen to, her name's Dr. Brittany G. But she goes under Keys to the Kingdom. She says that God it's 2 videos she did. What I might do is I'll link them in the description that talk about how in the reality of it that God has had you walking one way and them walk, just like I said in that dream that I had 5 years ago, that he's been having you both do certain things, but as you're praying, it's affecting his life. As he's praying, it's affecting yours. I remember specifically praying. I was sitting in the library about 2.5 years ago, almost 3. And I said, I was going through a hard season. And in that season, I was like, Lord, is he praying for me? Because if he isn't, can you start to get him to pray for me? Just start to have him pray for me. Because this is ridiculous. Because it was bad. during that season. I'm like, I need somebody praying for me. And I think he did. Because, and it's funny, I was listening to the word this morning, which is an old word from about 5 months ago. I'd never seen it before. This is what alignment does. The Lord will lead you to what you need to hear at the time. And I said, and she was talking about, are they praying for us too? Because sometimes we be going through it and we be like, man, I hope they praying for us as hard as we praying for them, because we getting hit. But I remember there's another woman I listened to, Stephanie P. She released a video and she was saying that they know. They're seeing it. They're feeling it. They feeling the same thing that you're feeling. They're going through the same thing that you're going through. Her and Elise Marie said the same thing. They feel it. And I think she partially got it from her. They feel it. If I'm going through warfare, my God-ordained spouse feels it. If he's going through warfare, I feel it. Sometimes I wonder, the spiritual attacks that I was going through with certain people, I was wondering, was he going through that with a relationship that was going on in his life at the time? Because there was some women that attacked me so daggone viciously. 3-4 different occasions. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? I don't do nothing to nobody. What? And I'm like, was there somebody in his life that was attacking him that way? Because I'm like, why? Identical experiences. But when, in the end, when they came into agreement with who they were supposed to be, she became the powerful one, and she was the one that was helping them fly. He couldn't fly without her. He couldn't soar without her. She was the one that was carrying them. As the wife, you will carry that relationship. You will be the anchor. You will be the prayer warrior. The Lord showed me about a year ago, a little over a year ago, around Christmas time. I was kneeling on the side of the bed praying in relation to my marriage when it manifests that, and the Lord showed me a sequence of flashes of time lapse. I was sitting at the corner of a bed the same way I was in that moment, but I knew I was sitting at the corner of it may have been the same bed, different rooms, same bed, or different beds, but I knew that was my prayer posture. That over the time of my relationship, I was seeing time lapse. That was the place where most of my work would be done. At the corner of the bed, praying over my house, my household, and my family. Whether I'm in my prayer room, my prayer closet, at the corner of my bed, on my knees praying, I'm going to be praying over this. And I know, because God pulled me tighter into him to start praying over my God-ordained spouse. And the type of warfare that I experienced during that time frame was ridiculous because of it. And I mean, I knew that I was being fought because after about a week of praying, I was speaking with the Lord separately from that prayer. And for 2 weeks straight, I was having a hard time staying awake while praying the prayer over my marriage, which means I was being fought in the spirit, covering this man in prayer. I constantly pray. Now I pray more than I've ever prayed. And I actually had a conversation with a spiritual advisor of mine, and that person said, after she came to the realization of who it was that I was praying about, she said to me, what did the Lord tell you to do? And I said, in a dream, I heard very clearly, pray for him. She said, you stopped praying, didn't you? When I was going through the amount of warfare I was going through, I went through my doubt, which brings me back to the point that I said last. Fear is the substance of the fear is false evidence appearing real, that doubt will come in. In this season, I know I'm in alignment for certain things to manifest in my life because the doubt has been ridiculous. And it was so ridiculous, I'm like, that ain't even my doubt. You have to understand that the enemy will come after your thoughts and your thought processes with doubt that you do not understand. But you know it's not yours because it's ridiculous, vicious doubt. Because if the enemy can't get to you, what he will do is he will send thoughts, false evidence appearing real, to try to intimidate and scare you away from the promise. You'll come to the understanding that those are thoughts, and then the real revelation will come to you. I will have dreams. I will have understandings. I'm like, what is this? That was what the enemy was fighting you, because he needed you to doubt it. Because the more you doubt, you weaken the ability to cover the other person. And you need to cover that other person. Trinity was going through an experience separated from him, but he had to come into the realization of who he was and to come for her. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. She knew. She just needed him to figure it out. And when they came together, they soared, baby. I heard there's a clip from Sarah Jakes that says, we make the devil mad. Let me see if I can find it in here. Because I wrote, there it is. Your marriage scares the devil so badly that you get married because you got vision together. God has been aligning me that I have a vision that's going to be a blessing to my spouse. That your marriage make hell mad. The reason that you go through warfare trying to get to this daggone thing is because your marriage make hell mad. It makes it very, very mad. This is why you fight like hell and you go through spirits and spells of doubt and all these things, because the enemy does not want you two together. As Dr. Jolynn Whitaker says this all the time. She said that the devil is happy as long as you're dealing with these people. But the second you come into realization you're supposed to deal with that person, all hell will break loose, because the devil don't want you to deal with that person. If you get connected to that person, the devil don't want you next to that person. Because if you were that person, it's a wrap for him. Because why? You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable, and the devil don't want that. Because Neo and Trinity took off flying. Flying! That's a word in itself. They took off flying at the end of that movie. She was carrying him, but they were flying, man. And they were flying high because of her. She was moving at a speed of light. The wives will carry the husbands, but y'all will run together and y'all be unstoppable. Come on now. With that being said, I'm going to give you this last little element, and I'm going to insert a clip right here. I know it was 5 minutes. I'm going to say this, that the fact of the matter is this: we are in a season of celebrations. Marriages are coming. They're coming with a vigorousness. It is predicted in 2022 that you're going to see a rapid manifestation of marriages unlike you've ever seen before. And by the end of this year, there will be a record number of marriages. I even heard it on Good Morning America. They were saying that it's predicted that there's going to be so many marriages this year and the process has already started. And Dr. Jolynn Whitaker released a word that stated that, yes, marriages are coming, but she's saying that put your sweets in the freezer because a celebration is about to occur. A celebration is about to occur. Get ready to celebrate. And when you see it, you'll know to celebrate. I don't have a cake in the freezer, but you know what my dream cake would be? And I'm going to repeat it right here. It would be a German chocolate base layer, a vegan cheesecake layer, a red velvet top layer, and a chocolate whipped cream icing. Vegan whipped cream icing with strawberries. Because I've always been wanting to do a vegan chocolate strawberry shortcake. Chocolate strawberry shortcake. Where the cream whip had, it was still like cream, but you could tell it had a tint of chocolate in it. And I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. You heard it here first. That's the cake that if I have a wedding cake, that's what I want. Mostly because I've always wanted it for my birthday. And my birthday's coming up this year. I don't know what's going to happen on it, but my birthday's coming up this year. In July. So, who knows? I might very well get the answer to both of my questions. Who knows? But that's what I had to say to y'all today. That was the alignment word. We're going to go edit this video because it's long and it's already split into 2 parts. It's going to have to be 3, actually 4, because I'm going to insert the video of that. So, love you guys. See you soon. Peace. This is Taj McCameron for Sacred Place Love Letters to God. Much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you.